Ghanaians believe that their transformation will not occur on the back of parties, but on the back of leadership. It's a question of leadership.
It is yet another week, and just as we've been doing for the past weeks, we have been delving deep into the Great Transformational Plan on Alan Speaks Prime Time show, hosted by me, Kwame Owusu-Danso. This week, we are looking at three very important sectors of the economy, which finds expression in the Great Transformational Plan. We're going to be looking at agriculture, we're going to be looking at industry or industrialization, and we're going to be looking at tourism. I have the privilege of having with me the Honorable Alan Kojo Kyerematen. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And I must admit that the feedback from the discussions we've been having have been very phenomenal. People are actually excited that you have not just put out a policy or a manifesto document, but you are actually explaining into great detail the specifics in that document, and people are very happy. It's a novelty, and so we want to say a big thank you to you first of all. Before we even proceed to look at the other areas that I've mentioned. The youth policy, I must admit, is one that resonated with the young people.
Okay,
I was driving through town and someone stopped me and said, "Oh, please, can I get a copy of the GTP, particularly the one that looks at the youth policy?" So you must be very proud of yourself that you are doing something very, very phenomenal. Okay. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Jody.
This week, we have a daunting task because we do know that some other political parties are launching, or some have launched their manifestos, and it's quite axiomatic that portions of the manifesto, as you've seen them, were lifted. I should say were lifted from, and I don't mean swears. Everybody knows me that I'm expediting the process so that, the subsequent ones that are yet to be launched will not, will not be lifted from your document. So today we are looking at three very key sectors of the economy. I'm happy that we've looked at the macro economy, and, you dealt with a number of them. We looked at revenue mobilization and optimization and all of that last week and last 2 weeks. Brilliant. This week we are looking at industrializing. Indeed, you were the one who conceived and hatched the concept of one district, one factory. And so I dare say that you have a lot to tell us when it comes to industrialization. First of all, give us a general overview of your industrialization policy and how you intend to see that to fruition.
Good. Thank you very much, KOD.
Yes, sir.
It's good to see you once again.
Likewise.
First, let me take it off from where we left off with the macroeconomy.
Fair.
So, whilst the macro is a critical input into overall economic growth and development, it is not a sufficient condition. It's a necessary condition for growth, but not a sufficient condition. As I said, you need low inflation, you need a stable currency, you need low interest rates, you have to be able to manage your debt.
Yes. Fiscal and non-fiscal aspect of it. Yeah.
So that provides stability to the economy. But if you want to move from stability to growth, then you need to move from the macro to the micro. So at the micro level, then you are affecting individual enterprises.
Right.
To what extent does an enterprise take advantage of low inflation? What is the effect of a stable currency on businesses? So that's where the link between macro and micro comes in. And very often, if you look at the experience of most developing countries, such as ours, our economy has been literally, for use of a better word, managed by our development partners,
Okay.
whether it's the multilateral institutions like the World Bank and IMF or the bilateral institutions.
Right.
And they have a reason for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
When they give you money to support for the use of the money.
Right.
Now, almost invariably, the support that is provided by our development partners supports the macro framework.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you always hear about macroeconomic
Macroeconomic,
stability. Yes. But the stability that comes out of macro policy interventions, as I said, is necessary, but it's not a sufficient condition for growth, meaning that you have to go beyond the stability of the macro environment now to provide enterprise level support
Okay.
to businesses. That is where then you start generating the real impact that affects individuals. So there's a very, now we want to deal with the micro. And as you rightly pointed out, the starting point is industrialization.
Right.
But one would ask, but why is industrialization so important? It's important the economy. What it means is that you increase the level of production of goods and services in the economy.
Right.
Now, when you increase production, it means that the companies that are now producing are able to earn income from their production. When they earn income, then government is able to generate additional revenue
Right.
from the work that the manufacturers and the producers are engaged in.
Right.
So first is about two. Through that, directly and indirectly, you are also incentivizing companies who produce to earn more income. And when they earn more income, government is able to earn more revenue. So that's number two. Number three, when you expand production, you are in a position to increase your exports.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't put, you stabilize your currency. So that's the third one. The fourth one is when you industrialize, it means you are producing also goods which ordinarily you are importing.
Important, yeah.
So that's what is described as import substitution. And we've discussed the benefits of being able to conserve foreign exchange by producing goods that you ordinarily import. And then last but not the least, because you are increasing production, you are also increasing jobs and the creation of employment.
Right.
So you can see that it's a whole gamut of benefits that arise from a policy of industrialization. So it is no wonder that the most advanced economies in the world also happen to be the most industrialized. You can name them: the United States, China, Japan, Germany, France, Korea.
Yeah.
You know, in that order, Brazil, all of them are also the most industrialized. So there's a very critical correlation between industrialization and economic growth and development.
What excites me about the industrial lay emphasis on the 6 pillars, and I'm going to dwell on the industrialization bit, a lot today, particularly because of what potentially it will do for our economy. So we are looking at boosting local production and productivity. How can you explain that aspect of the industrialization leg of the GTP?
Yes, I've been Minister for Trade and Industry.
Yes.
In 2 previous cases. I initiated very innovative, far-reaching presidential special initiatives targeting 4 industrial sectors. Those were the PSIs initiative. So if, as we've said, industrialization is about increasing production, then the 1 to 1 factory was designed. What it meant was that let us scale industries in the various districts in our country. So it means that you are bringing industry to the people.
Right.
And you are decentralizing industrial development. We all know that almost all our industries are concentrated either in Tema, Accra, Kumasi.
Indeed. Otakrade.
Otakrade. But the one district, one factory initiative sought now to send industrial development down to our rural communities.
Let's stay on that a bit.
Yes.
In your estimation, did it succeed? Because it's a question that a lot of
I think it's been one of the most successful policy interventions in our country since independence. And there's no doubt about that. By the time I was exiting from government, we had, through the One District, One Factory program, been able to support 269, or let's say about 260 companies or projects. I think there's one clarification that needs to be made.
Please.
The program framework was meant to support not only new companies in the districts, but also to be able to help existing ones.
Okay.
So when people are making commentaries or negative comments about this, they often talk about, well, you said this was to support industrial development. Yes. But if, for example, there's a company in a particular district that has already been established, why would you want to, under this program, still want to establish a new one when you are better off putting in money to support the existing one to become more viable?
Okay.
So it's for both new companies and existing companies. I'll give you one example.
Please do.
Daku Farms.
I remember Daku Farms.
Used to be the leading
poultry
company.
Yeah.
Not only in Ghana, in the whole of West Africa.
Indeed.
But because of the economic downturn over so many years, it almost went bankrupt. And when I started the One District, One Factory program, in that particular district, I decided that instead of incubating a new factory, since it fits within the framework, I decided that government should put or provide support to Akropong Farms now to be revived. And it's amazing the comeback of Akropong Farms.
Okay.
And there are many other examples. But the thing to remember is that if through a program like this, you are able to support so many companies, existing, new and existing, to be able to start working productively, you are creating jobs. You are also providing an opportunity for those companies who can export to export. You are providing an opportunity for those who can replace